The colours of the rainbow look so pretty in the eastern suburb skies of Melbourne this week because it's 80s round and we're all over it here on EFL TV. Thanks to Ferntree, Gully, Holden and HSV, where driving and local footy means a great deal. Yes, another huge edition of EFL TV as we get stuck in towards the business end of the season. Finals are fast approaching, and one man who can't wait for the finals, but more importantly, can't wait for this Saturday afternoon, is Peter Baird as we get stuck into another round of EFL action. Frosty, this league just keeps getting better and better.
It does, mate. I can't wait to get out to the footy this weekend. Had a forced weekend off last weekend, some other commitments, but I've got withdrawal symptoms, mate. I just can't wait to get out to the footy this weekend.
I could see you almost bleeding internally. That really hurt you, not being able to go out to an EFL game on the weekend. Let's have a look at the Division 1 ladder as we get stuck into the agenda, and our attention turns towards the bottom because East Burwood picked up a victory on the weekend, Frosty, and it just makes things very interesting towards the bottom. They're now only one game behind East Ringwood and 2 games behind Blackburn. Is it all over for the Rams? There's still a little bit of hope.
Possibly. You have to wait and see. It's really going to come down to the wire now. East Burwood, their percentage is going to hurt them more than anything else. So they are only that one game behind the Roos and a couple of games behind the Panthers there. They need to get those games on the board and they need to try and get that percentage a little bit boosted because that's probably what cost them a spot in Division 2 next year.
Let's have a look towards the top of Division 1, and it was a big round last weekend because it was, as we said last week, 2nd versus 3rd, 4th v 5th and 6th v 7th. Personally, we were out at the radio game, saw a ripping match between South Croydon and Roval. South Croydon getting the chocolates there, Norwood beating Lilydale to cement their spot in that top 4 and push for a top 3 chance now, and Vermont knocking off Noble Park. Things are starting to make a little bit of sense there now, Frosty.
I'm not so sure that Vermont-Noble Park result makes any sense at all. Had a look at Vermont the week before against Bournemouth and they were completely outclassed. But all credit to Chris Barlow and the Eagles. They've regrouped, they've come out and they've knocked off probably who I regarded as the number 1 contender for Bournemouth in Noble Park on the weekend. So that's a fantastic effort and it really throws them back into the mix, perhaps to challenge a team like Bournemouth for the premiership this year.
Time to get stuck into Division 2, and let's get stuck in by having a look at the Division 2 ladder, which continues to throw a few cats amongst the pigeons, I should say, Frosty. One of those big cats at the moment is Upper Ferntree Gully. What a win over Donvale last weekend. They kicked the last 6 goals of the game, Upper Gully, to register almost a comfortable win over Donvale in the end. Where does this leave both teams? Because Upper Ferntree Gully now are certainly not out of the relegation race, and there could be some teams that might go below them.
Had a bit of a chat to Andy Heyman earlier in the week, the coach of the Kings. He's just got a little bit of sniff now that perhaps it's not all over for Upper Ferntree Gully. They might be able to hang on to a spot in Division 2 next year. Perhaps that relegation door has been left wide open and they're really looking to march through it. I'd be really worried if I was Graham Cuff and his Donvale team. They've really gone off the nose in the last month and a half of football. I think it's 7 straight losses now. Really struggling to put any form together whatsoever. Bayswater and Mulgrave, they're not breathing very easily either because the Kings are coming and these teams have to be on their game because who knows, it might come down to round 18 to find out which team could be dropping back to Division 3 next year.
Let's have a look at Division 3, Frosty, and after maybe a couple of down weeks, maybe a couple of flat weeks in Division 3, we are set for 3 particular massive games across 3rd Division this week. Towards the bottom of the ladder, it's the Whitehorse Pioneers taking the Glen Waverley Hawks, and at the top of the ladder, it's Wantirna South hosting Mitcham. They're going to be absolutely magnificent, but the one that we're heading out for the radio game, Frosty, is Boronia and Doncaster, and that'll be live on 98.1 FM from 1 till 6 p.m. And ahead of the game, Sam Gaston headed all the way out to JJ Tully Drive and caught up with Doncaster player Matt Carlson.
Big game on the weekend. Are you looking forward to it?
Yeah, very big game, mate. When it comes down to it, as I'm sure you probably know more than anyone, mate, there's not much separation between the top few, and this week, obviously, leading into finals, one for showing your form, let alone the ladder, it's probably going to make some pretty big differences.
And Brian, you were on the rise. You played them earlier in the year. How do you think they've gone then, and how is it going to be a different match this time?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's been kind of a weird season in terms of the top three, sort of Mitcham, ourselves, and also Wanturna South and Boronia just being below that. I mean, everyone's kind of on the same sort of par, but as in the teams that they've lost to or and the teams they've won against, they've all kind of differed between the whole bunch of them. So it really comes down to, I suppose, who wants it, and injuries and form coming into the later part of the season. So either way, it's undoubtedly a very important game for us as a club, let alone going into finals, and I'm sure for the same as them. So.
And you just got off the track now, sweating up a little bit there. How was that?
Breath, mate. Trying to catch some breath.
I know you've run all the way down from the bottom oval, but what was that session about, and what are you sort of focusing on for the weekend?
Well, obviously we're really trying to take care of the bodies. I mean, it's come to the later part of the season, and I mean, we're just trying out a couple of new things down there. As in, realistically, it's probably more so about the intensity and focusing on knowing our roles, which, you know, I mean, earlier in the season we're all we'll try to learn. And now we're really starting to settle into that. So I mean, if we do all the right things and we've done what we have done previously, and the intensity's there, then I mean, it should have fallen into place. But I mean, who knows?
And that three-way battle at the top of Division 3, you got you guys, Wanturna South and Mitcham as well. You've played both those teams, and it is tight all the way through. Does one stand out over the others to you, or?
Nah.
No.
Nah. I don't know. I think I mean, when we played Mitcham, we probably had a better day than usual, and I think Mitcham probably had a bit more of an off day. I mean, obviously the ladder shows differently to probably how the result ended up that day, and obviously Wanturna South didn't end up too well for ourselves. So I think it really is one of those, I mean, in terms of the ladder all being equal, and it's all a percentage race, so it really comes down to on the day, mate. Because I mean, first round we lost to Templestowe, and I mean, as much as they've got injuries and such, they've ended up going down a fair bit later half of the season. Hopefully they get back up, but it really does come down to just who wants it more, I suppose, intensity and everyone knowing their role. So yeah.
And on your own personal form, you've played every game this year, snagged a few goals as well. How are you enjoying the year?
A lot, mate. This is the longest I've ever played without getting injured. I mean, knock on wood, mate. But yeah, I don't know. I suppose the coaches have done a good thing for me this year, being able to let me have a little bit of leeway here and there in terms of my body. So trying to take care of it, and look, hopefully we can keep the form going into finals. That's really all I care about, let alone the club. I mean, it's a week at a time, but at the end of the day, finals, that's what we want.
Yeah, definitely. You seem to have a lot of goal scorers as well. Plenty of guys that can put a bit of pressure on the scoreboard. Where's that come from, and how are you guys dealing with that?
Yeah, well, shout out to Muller. He wanted me to have a bit of a word for him. Yeah, he kicked 8 on the weekend, so he's been out for a few weeks with a hamstring. He's pulling his weight. Apples, unfortunately, is a bit of a I don't even know, that guy's got that many injuries, but it's an ankle or something for him. So he's out. That's a big out for us. Obviously, Tomo was playing earlier in the season for us. He was doing some great things for us. It's a little bit spread out, but I mean, we're trying to share it around. It's more about knowing our role rather than having that one specific person kicking goals now. It's more so the sharing amongst the group.
Yeah, definitely. Well, thanks for your time, mate. Can you give us a prediction for Saturday? Doncaster by how many?
I'll just say Doncaster. That's all I'm going to say, mate.
That's a poor effort. Thanks, mate.
Let's have a look at the Division 4 ladder, Frosty. And after last weekend's results, which saw Park Orchards knock off Surrey Park and, of course, Coldstream defeat Canterbury, that Division 4 ladder, particularly towards the bottom end of that top 5, looks very, very tasty because there are 4 teams with 5 wins, all competing for that 5th spot. Coldstream currently occupies that 5th spot. Are they the team to play in the Choose Tap finals this year?
Quite possibly, Ben. They've come down from Division 3, just starting to get their act together now, but ahead of a huge game this weekend. Braden Ingram's headed out to Arctic Park earlier in the week to catch up with Coldstream coach Matt Price.
Well, Matt, took you 5 rounds to get your first win, and now you're in the top 5. Can you stay there?
Yeah, we definitely can. Our form's been pretty solid the last 2 months, so we think that we can, if we keep our form up and we keep our fitness base up, we've got a few games still at home, we should get enough wins to make the finals.
And if you are to make the finals, what's probably the key aspect of the game that needs to get better?
Look, I think some of our inside ball against the better sides has cost us throughout games, but also finishing off is one of those things. We're working on a fitness now. We've been doing that for the last couple of weeks. We had a bye and the long weekend through the middle of the year, which we really pushed hard with some fitness work, and we're trying to finish off games better. So, look, I think the better sides come finals know how to play at 4 quarters, and that's with a young side. That's what we've got to get better at. So.
And you come up probably against another young side in Surrey Park this week, and this is a crucial game. You're both in that logjam on 5 wins. You're inside the top 5, as I mentioned, and this is a big chance because you're on 11. You've played 11 games, they've had Surrey, but most of the other games, teams in that logjam have played the 12 games. This is a big chance to leap ahead of them.
Yeah, look, we're aware that we're one game behind. We've played one game less, so it is a big game for us. Look, Surrey Park jumped us last time we played them, round 3. They were in pretty good form early, had a couple of good wins early, and we weren't playing great. So we think back on our home ground, the classic 8-point game. If we can get over the top of them with only sort of 4 games to go, it gives us a really good chance. And look, they've been really solid with their performances this year, so we're going to be right in our game, that's for sure.
And you've been happy with the way you've been playing personally this year?
Yeah, look, we've been consistent again. Look, it's just good to be back playing, fully fit and not injured. So this year's been one of those years where I can actually train, first time for a while. So it's good to be consistently training, getting the work in, and you notice it on a Saturday. But look, I'm getting on a bit now, so I'm pretty happy to give the other guys more of an opportunity through the middle and play off a half-forward flank or play off a half-back flank and give some of these young guys some midfield roles and just really start to nurture these guys through and give them more confidence as well. So.
And now a young man who I think might get a bit of attention on the weekend if he gets a game, Bailey Fritsch. He's played 8 games for you this season. You put him back into the under-19s, comes out and kicks a lazy 11. Any chance he might see a run this weekend?
Yeah, look, he's still only a skinny 17-year-old kid. And look, we like playing him out here because it's such a big ground, a bit more open space. So look, he's every chance to come in this week. I think last week at Canterbury, a smaller ground against sort of lesser opposition, we thought would give him a chance to go back and get some confidence. And look, we didn't expect him to kick 11, but he definitely has talent, and it was great to see him get that reward for his efforts. Obviously, playing senior footy at 17, you'll have your ups and downs. By going back to the 19s this week, it was just good to get the reward. So yeah, look, he's every chance to come in this week.
And finally, how big is a final, not just in terms, you mentioned the on-field and, wanting to get a win and having the side, but in terms of off-field, getting the supporters back around the club, how important is it to make a final and be competitive?
Oh, it's huge, absolutely huge for the club. We haven't played finals now for, I'd say, nearly 10 years, 8 years or something like that. Look, we've been close a few times, but things haven't gone our way. And look, we're every chance to play finals this year and be the first opportunity in a long time to play finals footy. It'd be great for the club and great for supporters to get along and see our young kids coming through and developing. That would be great. But yeah, also good for the group to finally get that reward after 5 or 6 tough years in 3rd Division where we sort of scrapped around middle of the road to the bottom half. So yeah, definitely be good for the group and off field as well.
Well, Matty, we really appreciate your time here on EFL TV. A huge game against Surrey Park, and good luck for that one.
No worries. Thanks very much.
Okay, look, not happy, Jan. Many things are here today, but simply disappear tomorrow. But not so the Division 4 cellar dwellers, the Canterbury Football Club. To many people, they are the club down at Chatham Road that haven't had much success since joining the Eastern Football League. But let me tell you all, this is not what the Cobras are all about. There is another side to the Canterbury Football Club. Yes, we can take the mickey out of them because in 2013 at this stage they are winless. And I remind you all that the bottom side in every division is as important to our league as the top side. And to those that don't know, no other EFL club, and that includes all division, have a history that dates back 132 years. They are one of the oldest clubs in Australia, established in 1881. They are older than Richmond, Hawthorn and Collingwood, would you believe that? And was formed only 22 years after Melbourne and Geelong became the first 2 official VFA teams. In addition to this, Canterbury Sports Ground has been their home since 1895. And their jumper came about because of the Anzacs in Flanders in Belgium. And to commemorate that event, the community chose the Belgian flag, red, yellow and black, and it has not changed since 1915. So the next time you overhear somebody talking about the Cobras, just remind them that no other EFL club comes near them in history. And when that first win comes, and it will come, let's all get behind them and say, congratulations, Cobras. Not happy, Jan.
Time for our favourite part of EFL TV, Peter Baird, the EFL TV Play of the Week. And we had 4 great nominations last week. The nominations have been fantastic over the past fortnight or so. But this man took the chocolates in the end, and we were out there firsthand to see this goal, and he was Daniel Mendes from the Vermont Football Club.
Xavier Barry Murphy kicks it inside forward 50. Daniel Mendes is at the back of the pack. He's a clever footballer. He gets it on the second bite. He swings around. What a goal that is! That is one of the best goals you will see. Daniel Mendes, super play.
Congratulations to Dan Mendes, last week's winner of the EFL TV Play of the Week. More great nominations this week, Peter Baird, as this competition continues to gather momentum. We'll have plenty of great highlight reels come the end of 2013. Make sure you check out these plays and then head to efl.org.au, the poll down the bottom right-hand side of the website, to vote for your favourite. And we couldn't go another week without missing out on the EFL's best haircut competition. Had a week off last week, but Frosty, we've come back better than ever this week with an absolute perler.
We do. Have a look at this one from the Lilydale Football Club. Under 17 player Scott Kirk, one of the best mullets you'll ever see, and not afraid to tell everyone about it, nominating himself for the EFL's best or worst haircut this week.
Well, there you have it, Peter. Another edition of EFL TV done and dusted. And I'm sure you're looking forward to heading out to Tormore Reserve this weekend, because that is the rodeo game. Baroni taking on Doncaster. I'll get a quick word from you about that game. It's a big chance to Baroni because their form's been really good over the past couple of weeks, but they run into a pretty red-hot Doncaster.
Yeah, Doncaster, they haven't put a foot wrong, but I reckon it's time for Baroni to make a statement. We've been talking about the top 3 teams in Mitcham, Wantirna South and Doncaster. I reckon it's time for Baroni to announce themselves as a worthy contender and make it 4 teams we're talking about as contenders for the flag.
Well, we'll be out there for EFL Game Day, so make sure you tune in to 98.1 FM and, of course, efl.org.au during Saturday afternoon. Frosty, thanks for your work, and I'll see you on Saturday.
You certainly will, mate. I'm not missing 2 weeks in a row.
See you next week.